everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Mike the Principal, kind of live. We're on YouTube and also on your favorite podcasting platform. Appreciate you checking in, listening to this episode. We're going to talk. This is actually going to be a really fun episode. This is going to be the first time we've ever done an episode like this called Can We Talk About It? This is version 1. We'll probably do 2 of these a season, maybe 3. Who knows? Depends on how much content there is to talk about. And these are really topics that don't need an entire episode to talk about, but they're things that I've either seen or read about over the past few weeks that I just really need to get off my chest and talk about with school leaders. So this episode is rightfully titled, Can We Talk About It? So that's what we're going to hit upon. Again, I'm Mike Meechin, Mike the Principal. You can follow me at Mike the Principal on Instagram and also check the link in the show notes for all my work that I do. I am the Florida State Director for the National Center on Education and the Economy. I work to develop principals and school leaders throughout the state of Florida, really throughout the country. We're doing some incredible work there. We believe that the school principal is essential in school improvement process. So really excited about continuing that work. That's why I do this podcast and just get really charged up talking about school leadership. I love it. I love this stuff. So want to dive right in and hit on the topics that we're going to cover today. The first one is I read an article recently about teachers. Are they taking too much work home? And this was something that continuously drove me crazy. I'm married to a teacher as well, so I see the amount of work that she puts in. She's an incredible teacher, but teachers are doing too much work. How can we limit that, right? So there was an article by Larry Ferlazzo, which was a great article about teachers called Teachers Don't Take Your Work Home. And he shared multiple actually tweets out from a variety of different teachers that talked about some of the strategies and things to think about to limit the amount of work that you're doing. So the first one that they talked about is, does the work that you are assigning serve a purpose? And when I was a school leader, when I was a school principal, we would talk about this with our instructional staff all the time. Can you answer the question why? If you can't, stop doing it. Like if you can't answer the question why you're doing something in class, stop. Okay? That's first. There's a lot of, and I will tell you what, ask your students. They'll be the first ones to tell you. They know busy work and they know fluff. They don't need it. So if it's not purposeful, don't do it. Okay? That's first and foremost. The second thing is, how are you collaborating with your colleagues? Is it in an effective format? Is there a way where you guys are sharing tasks? Are you all creating your own assignments and assessments? If you have a LMS like Canvas, are you a LMS learning management system, right? Are you creating all the content by yourself, or are you sharing the workload? So how are you collaborating with one another? The other one is student agency. How are you giving students ownership in the process? Are there ways for you to do some error analysis or work in small groups or really keep the learning student centered where they're driving some of the feedback? You might have them do peer edits, peer reviews, so that you're not red penning 150 papers at night. That's crazy. Like, we need to stop doing that. There are ways to shift how you're structuring your assessment in class. Are you letting students own a part of their learning? Okay? Those are really important pieces. Also, looking at the type of feedback that you're giving. What's the feedback look like? Are you leveraging digital tools? You can use video content. There's ways for you to give feedback whole class or in small group and rotate things around. You can break your class into stations. There's a variety of different ways for you to be given incredible feedback and reducing the amount of work that you are having to bring home with you. And then lastly, which really ties back to the first thing, don't grade everything. Like you can ask students to do work that's not going to be graded. It's going to be okay. And the age-old adage, right, that we are like, well, they won't do it if we don't assign a grade to it. You need to go back and listen to some of my podcasts, and I'll have some upcoming content about assessment and grading. You need to rethink your grading practices, okay, if you're coming at it from that mindset. So please don't do that. But again, back to one, does the work that you're assigning serve a purpose? And if it doesn't, stop. So are teachers working too much? Hell yeah, they are. So what are you going to do? And how, as a school leader, can you help? How can you help fix that? How can you help support? Are you talking about that intentionally with your staff? If you're not, do that. I just rattled off several 5, 6 things that you can do, and I'll share Larry Ferlazzo's article with you in the show notes. Take those things with you. Start doing some of them, incorporate them. Throw that in front of your leadership team meeting this week and talk about that with them. Those things are really important. Second thing can we talk about? Teachers need to stop spending their own money. If I see another Amazon wish list from a teacher that needs to be funded, it's getting out of hand. There was an article that I read about teachers they have to stop spending their money. And some of the data that the article was bringing, the Association of American Educators says on average, teachers are spending $673 of their own money each year. I would actually argue it's far greater than that. Okay. So they need to go back and redo their numbers because they're not right. It's way more than that. Okay. Or they need to survey more teachers because it's insane. But if you're a school leader, how are you spending your funds for your teachers and their supplies? Have you asked them what they need? Okay, that might be a good first step. Like asking them, like, what are your needs? How can I help support that so that we're not having to put public school wish lists on Amazon to get them funded? Like, this is crazy. Research shows that many school budgets are actually not even tapping into a lot of the funds that are allocated for supplies, or the spending that's happening there for school supplies is not being expended efficiently. So we need to work on that as school leaders. I would encourage you to go back and look at that. And some things to think about. There are some incredible school districts doing some work that is pretty innovative, where they're opening up accounts. The districts are actually opening accounts for teachers to be able to charge to at big box retailers like Target, and being able to go in and buy the supplies that they need to, and maybe they're allocated a certain amount of funds. But I just thought that was a really innovative idea, really cool use of how we can help with really supplying teachers' classrooms and make it easy for them. I think that's essential. So instead of spending their own money, they're spending the district's money through an account. And I also wanted to share with you, don't forget, it's not very much, but every little bit counts. The educator expense deduction this year for 2023 has increased. So don't forget that when you file your taxes, to make sure that you're getting that. I think they increased it by $50, which is a joke, but every little bit counts. So make sure that you check that out. You can check the IRS's website. I'll drop a link to it in the show notes as well. Third, teacher shortage. I read an article which I thought was relatively comical. It was published by the Orlando Sentinel. It said, "How bad is the teacher shortage in Florida?" And it depends on who you ask, was the name of the article. I'll share that in the show notes with you. But it pointed out a discrepancy between the numbers of vacancies that the Florida Education Association, FEA, was publishing, and the amount of vacancies that the Department of Education were saying were in the state. And the numbers were pretty far off. They were over 2,000 off. So FEA on August 7th here in the state of Florida published that 6,900 vacancies existed right before actually we already started school. So like that's insane, right? Like we've got almost 7,000 teachers. The DOE was kicking back and reported that there were only 4,700 vacancies. So there's a discrepancy there, right? And the article wanted to focus on that discrepancy. I would actually argue, who cares? Okay. I don't care if it's 3,000. If it's one, we needed to go do something about it. So like we're spending more time arguing about whose numbers are right and what vacancies there are, instead of like spending our time and energy on incredible strategies to go and friggin' recruit new teachers to our profession. So like, can we shift how we spend our time and energy to be able to maybe have more impact? And, it doesn't matter whose numbers are right. It's like, let both organizations and all of us need to be devoting our time and energy instead to filling the vacancies, regardless of the number. Okay. So that's like that's something that's just essential. I also wanted to, if there's things that you're doing out there in the buildings, in your leadership that are innovative, whether they relate to how much work teachers are taking home, spending, how you're budgeting so that teachers are not spending their own money on supplies, or how you have changed your hiring practices, please drop it in the comments. I would love to hear more about it. The more that we can share, and I will blast it out there. You drop it in the comments, I will share with the world. So please make sure, if we can just lean on each other and lean in a little bit and help each other out, please share that innovative strategies in the comments. I would love to hear more about that. Don't forget, now every new content drops every single Monday for Mike the Principal. So really excited to be able to bring new content weekly. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share button. If you're listening to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform, please share this with any educator in your life. If you like what we have heard, even anybody you know that works in a school, like, share this content with them, and maybe it will get to the right people. They don't have to necessarily be school leaders to take something away from this. It's something they can listen to, bring to their school leaders that they work with on a daily basis. So again, I hope you enjoyed the content. Always love talking about school leadership. I love this work. Y'all have a great week. Peace.